Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, it's time. Time to respond to Ian. Ian tells me it's gonna drop even more when Rick and Maggie leave. He's talking about the ratings for The Walking Dead. I respond, you got that right. Maybe doing another video. And I am doing another video. This is the video. Well, Ian, welcome to the channel, and thank you for leaving your comment, first off. To any of you that have been watching The Walking Dead, you know that it's not quite the show it used to be. Now, you could say that about almost any long-running TV show. Any TV show that's very long-running, outside of maybe a TV comedy sitcom that has to have the same characters. Shows like The Walking Dead will lose some characters along the way. It's silly to think that on a show like The Walking Dead, no characters will ever die. And you're not going to lose any characters from early on. You got to pretty much have some character deaths. Deaths like, Beth, Herschel. You're going to have some deaths, okay? And they're going to be big moments. But the problem with The Walking Dead is, The Walking Dead arrogantly thought, the producers, the showrunners, the people responsible for the show, arrogantly thought the ratings were so high in the sky that they could do fucking whatever with the show. They could kill off whoever they wanted to kill off. They could do whatever they wanted, and the ratings would still stay up there. You know why? Because people love the zombie show. It's an amazing, amazing show about zombies. It is the best show on TV that's ever been about zombies. But here's the thing. It started like, what, 9 years ago? Almost a decade ago. When people watch a show that long, there's reasons they watch a show that long. Primarily, I would say, the characters. They get invested in the characters. And with that show, most people saw that as, well, Rick's story. I've seen so many comments on the internet, basically just saying, well, it's Rick's story. If Rick dies, the story is over. Why would you continue with the same show? You end the show, and if you wanted to do a spin-off or restart something, The Walking Dead, Daryl's Tale or something, just do that. The thing is, it's still a huge show, ratings-wise. It could drop like 80, 90%. It's dropped maybe 50, 60, but it could drop 80, 90%. And AMC would still make money off the show. They're still making money. It wouldn't be quite the ratings juggernaut, but they're still making money. I compare it to WWE Raw. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, WWE Raw, I don't know if they ever had numbers like The Walking Dead, but they had some huge-ass ratings. Nowadays, I would say their ratings dropped probably 55, 60, 70% from back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it's still a big deal. It's still profitable. So The Walking Dead, whether you want it to or not, it's still going to go on. It's still going to be a thing. But it's never going to be quite that ratings juggernaut. It's not going to be what AMC wants it to be again. Because, losing half, I think, I'm reading an article here on the Hollywood Reporter. I think the ratings are down possibly in that second episode, not the one I talked about with the ratings decline. I think 60%. Like 60%. It's maybe like a 2 point something. And they compared that to the opening for season 7. Very fascinating thing here. And what outlines a lot of people, what they think is the beginning of the decline of the show, which is the season 7 opener. That brutal, very depressing episode where Glenn was killed. His head basically turned into mush. For some reason, I don't know, a lot of people just didn't want to watch the show after that. That episode was done in a certain way to make everyone just lose any sense of hope with the show going forward. I would say that moment right there, far before the killing off of, Carl's character or even Rick's character, that moment was the beginning of, not the end, but it was the beginning of a lot of people just leaving the show. So to a lot of those people, like myself, I left the show around that time, and it wasn't because Glenn was killed on the show. As I've stated in videos before, if they would have done it, in a different way and still had Glenn die, and not made me and everyone else believe that Glenn was not going to be the person killed, they went out of their way to make us believe, it's not going to be Glenn, but then they had that huge gotcha moment. I would still have stuck with the show. Now, when would I have left the show? Probably the moment Carl was killed off. Probably that moment. Because then I would see no purpose in the future of the show. I went over a lot of these points before, I know. But compare that to maybe other shows that lost their lead actor or actress. And then didn't last much longer after that. I'm thinking what jumps out to me is the X-Files. The X-Files lost, Agent Mulder and was replaced by that T2 Terminator guy. Who wants to see the T2 Terminator guy and Scully? That didn't make any sense. They had zero charisma on screen. It became a completely different show after that. Was that the one show, 2.5 Men? They lost Charlie Sheen, replaced with Ashton Kutcher, of all people. You go from Charlie Sheen to Ashton Kutcher. Two completely different people. And that still lasted for some seasons, but the ratings declined a lot after that. Another show, That 70s Show. They lost Topher Grace and Ashton Kutcher. They left the show. See, these key characters, these main characters on shows, you can't lose them and still expect all the same people to be invested in that show. Imagine Dragon Ball without Goku. It's the same exact thing. Dragon Ball started with Goku as a kid, and you see his story as he grows up, he gets married, he has kids, mostly does a lot of fighting. Imagine The Walking Dead without Rick. You could still do the show, just like you could still do Dragon Ball. You could still have people kung fu fighting, saving the world, but it's not the fucking same. Same thing. Same thing with The Walking Dead. Rick woke up in that hospital. Go back and watch the first episode of The Walking Dead. And you tell me this show is not completely, 100% been built as Rick's story. Rick's dead, so the story should end. That'll probably last about 14, 15, 20 seasons. Daryl's going to be so old and grizzled. Tired of handling all this shit after Rick died. I'm like 70 years old. It's season 37. But I'm still the fangirl's dream.